How you doing, Rick?
Good, Megan. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for being
Yeah,
here. It is an astonishingly beautiful day outside,
that it
and I can
is.
hear the birds chirping and I've got my kids doing yard work. So if you hear doors opening and closing, then that is
They're
what.
doing their work.
That's right. That's right. We don't have
That's
a
good.
gardener. We don't have a housekeeper because I have teenagers that want money. So
Well, there you go.
there you go.
That
Anyway,
helps.
so you and I were talking a little bit before we started recording
Hmm.
about reading headlines,
Hmm.
and as much as we try to avoid it, and I know I've talked about it before with you
Hmm.
on these
Hmm.
calls, but as much as you try to avoid it, it's like, damn if they aren't everywhere. You
I
turn
know
on,
it's
yeah, you just
everywhere.
want to check your phone for work, and all of a sudden it's like doom and gloom. I mean, if anybody has something to block that, please let me know or how I can
Hmm.
do that. But man, it really starts to like saw away at your
Hmm.
psyche. It's like, oh my gosh. And I
Hmm.
told you, I mean, sometimes you already have heard the story through a reliable source, and then you see a news headline and
Hmm.
it says the truth but twisted in a weird way. It's like, gosh, can't we just all just be looking out for the best interest of our people, of our country, of our fellow
Hmm.
man? I mean, what is all this
Hmm.
dissension? So anyway, so I do read the Register. I get it online,
Hmm.
and I have I do like to see what's going on locally. And this Sunday in the Register, they had a story about Orangewood, children's home, and they have this program, and you can look it up still from Sunday. And it was a program for young adults. Like I think you'll have to double check, but I think it was like 16 to 23 or 21, that if they had been part of the system and they had gotten a felony, that they can enroll in this class. And there's quite a few classes. There's like
Hmm.
education and just a lot of different uh, assistance for them to get that felony expunged from their record. And apparently
Wow.
it's very grueling, but what a terrible way to start off your life, fighting. It's like swimming against the tide. And we all, when we were kids, some of us had one foot on a banana peel, you know what I mean? It's like
I
we could
did.
have been that way too. So I
Hmm.
thought, man, that's the like golden rule is, if you're feeling really crappy, like I think a lot of people are kind of feeling right now, reach out and help somebody else. Look up Orangewood Children's Home. They have a lot
There
of
you go.
programs there you can sign up for. You can help. I'm sure that they don't have much maybe in person right now, but you can sure help financially, and you can do some studies and see how you can help in the future, because just like Whitney Houston said, the children are our future. It is no doubt. Or even they have court appointed, it's CASA, court appointed support. Oh, it's CASA Orange County. It's so, you children get assigned a mentor,
Hmm.
and that's another program. So I mean, if anybody's feeling crummy out there and they want help looking up something to make them feel better and help out kids
Make an
and just
impact.
make an impact, hit me
Yeah.
up and we'll brainstorm together.
Very cool. Love that.
Okay, so that's my conundrum for this week, but I think that's fixed. But I had asked you to talk to me today and everybody else that's watching about homeowners associations. So
Hmm.
we know that there's Orange County, and there's
Hmm.
North Orange County, and there's South Orange County. And
Hmm.
North Orange County had mostly, we had a little housing boom in the 20s, when all the little downtowns were created: Anaheim and Fullerton and Tustin and Orange and Santa Ana. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, even Buena Park has some cute little old like railroad houses from then. But then there really wasn't a big housing boom until the 50s in North Orange County. So most of our housing stock is going to be from the 1950s. But then you go to South Orange County, and I feel really old, but I'm going to tell you, I used to live in East Orange, over off of Cannon. It used to be called, I think it was Crawford Canyon, but now it's Cannon.
Yeah.
It goes through to Imperial. And I would take the
Mm-hmm.
school bus to school, and we would drive, to Jamboree or Newport, whatever that is. And
Yeah.
it was all orange groves.
Yeah.
There was nothing out
Remember those
there.
days? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so, I mean, South County really didn't get a big boom. I mean, there's some things in Irvine from the 60s, but mostly it's like
Mm-hmm.
the 80s, the 90s. And I know you were involved in some new home developing, back then,
Mm-hmm.
but they've got homeowners associations. Some of them even have Mello Roos, and some of them have lifestyle transfer fees.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to talk to you about how that would affect someone's buying ability if they had a homeowners association or higher property taxes or that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's all great questions because, if you look at the history of Orange County, if you did some looking back on the history in the 1970s, that really wasn't that long ago when you think about it.
I'd like to
Mission
think
Viejo
so.
was,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, right. Mission Viejo was mostly all just open land. It was just
Yeah.
vacant land. I
Yeah.
mean, if you go 5 south past through Irvine from like the early 70s, there was a wide open highway.
Yeah.
It's amazing how fast that's grown. So you have all these master plans now, right?
Right.
And so with that master planning came, guess what? Associations, right? To
Mm-hmm.
manage all that stuff, that
Mm-hmm.
infrastructure. And then as we got deeper into that, it came out with this thing, called Mello Roos to help build all the schools and the parks and all the recreation and the newer communities. And so, that's where all that came from, of course. There's a lot of benefits to that, but you pay for it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so the question always is, we talk about this a lot, is, okay, well, if you have a house with an association or a house without an association, how much more buying power do you have if you don't have the association, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at a typical association in the, say, mid 300 range, well, okay, if you're buying whatever that number is, how much more house could I buy if I didn't have that association?
Right.
That's a valid question, right? So we're doing some math on that. So generally speaking, based on where the rates are today, which is great, for every $10,000 difference in loan amount, right, your difference in your payment on your mortgage payment is only about $45.
Mm-hmm.
So to wipe out an association fee of, let's say, $360,
Mm-hmm.
that's about $85,000 in home price.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had a house that's, let's just say for sake of numbers, right, a $500,000 home with about a 350, 360 association, that is equivalent to about a 585 home without an association.
That makes sense.
Same payment, same loan amount. Well, not same loan amount, but just based on purchase price. Of course, your down payment's a little bit bigger, between 500 and say 580, 585, but not by much on a 5% down payment. $4,500, 4,000, something like that. So sometimes when someone's kind of on that fence between, okay, this is association, this is no association, how much more can I buy? That's a great question to have, and
Yeah.
how to address that.
Yeah, because it's like, and even with the property tax rate, I mean, you helped me in the Great Park, and between the property taxes and the Melrose and all that, I mean, it was about 2% add-on.
It's very expensive.
Yeah,
down
but you
there.
know what? It's perfect. It sure
Oh, it's
is.
beautiful.
It's
It is beautiful.
fantastic. I mean, geez,
Hmm.
Louise, like it's like a living in
Oh, it's
Disneyland
like a
for
paradise. It's
families.
like
Oh my
almost like
gosh,
resort living. I
it
mean,
is.
right?
You pay for it,
It's so beautiful there. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, and
yeah,
people have been gladly paying for it. I mean, you're looking at HOA fees and higher tax rates down there, but what are you getting? You're getting a lot of great amenities,
yeah,
and
yeah.
lifestyle that you can't buy in other places, and people are really willing to pay for that.
They are.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it is benefits there
Yeah.
for
Well, good.
sure.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to explain how homeowner association payment can really adjust what your purchase power is.
That's a great question. Yeah, thanks for
And
this
our interest
discussion.
rates a little bit different on condos too?
It depends. It's a good
Yeah.
question. It depends. Here's what that means.
Mm-hmm.
On a condominium, if you're putting, this is for conventional financing, VA and FHA is different, but conventional, let's say, if you're putting less than 25% down, your rate on a condominium is slightly higher, not by much, eighth or maybe a quarter, depending upon the market. It's not by much. So you can do a 5% down condo and still get a really, really affordable payment.
Mm-hmm.
It's again, the rate's a tiny bit higher, but again, not by much. But the buyers that have 25% down, they get the lower rate. But again, the rates, when I say lower, guess what? Across the board, rates are lower. They're
Right.
super, super good right now. So
Yeah, you're just talking
that's the
about
way it
splitting
works.
hairs at some point, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
All right, good. Well, I appreciate your time. I hope that you enjoy the day, and
Yeah,
we'll
thanks.
just
You
keep
too.
trucking along here.
All good.
All right.
Thanks, Megan. See you
Thank
later.
you.